Hi, this is Ann with Anna D Scratch and Crafts. This is part 2 and hopefully the finish of putting together my Fairyland Diorama. I'm going to start with the end piece here. I've pulled everything out of the circle except for the stones. And if you notice from the rough draft, I've added a few more stones, like I says, until the resin is hard. There's changes. That was the alcohol I put at the bottom. My resin has been sitting, mixed and sitting. So let's give it a pour. Let's start with the rocks here.
Now what I'm doing is just like with the scratchers, I'm putting a thin layer down first.
I'm going to start
so the objects I'm setting on it are not setting straight on the mold itself,
mushrooms back in,
but have a layer of resin underneath them. And now I'm starting to put the mushrooms back in again.
Remember, you wanted a little bit at the bottom, which is why I did a pour
making my final decision
first.
Where everything goes. One of the mushrooms, I did knock off one of the butterflies in moving it around. So if you do happen to see at the end some tape sitting on one of the mushrooms, it's because I had to glue the butterfly back. Now that the mushrooms are in, let's start putting in the moss. And you may notice a round red stone that's not a mushroom. Again, I had some leftover resin. That's a nice little gem shape, so I went ahead and poured it and figured it'd be perfect for this. So I set it up in this little section of the diorama. And that moss is all over the place. It's going to be fun when I'm all finished cleaning this all up. Then I went back and found a bunch of other plants that I pulled out from the other dioramas I did. Didn't use all the plants. The moss has been sucking up all the resin. That's the reason I poured some more in. Which is good because that'll keep the moss in place. And a little bit more resin in the front. And some finishing touches on the final bits and pieces.
Yep. Checking to make sure.
Kind of what I'm doing now is checking to see what the level of the resin is.
Push down a little bit.
Making sure I don't need to pour any more in.
Oh, need a little bit more over here.
And a final little section I didn't get any moss in. Still adding just a little bit more moss in. Section I'd missed before. Kind of straightening up, putting the last final touches. And then I decided at this point I did not have enough plants. So I went and got some more. And putting the last few in. Now what I forgot to do in film, I forgot to put my little fairies in. I didn't forget completely. They did get in before the resin is hardened. You just won't see them as I'm giving you an overlook. But when I go back to show you the complete overlook of everything, maybe you can spot where I put some of them. Because I intend to put a whole lot of those little bitty fairy charms all over the place. And you can see where I taped on the butterfly. So section 1 is finished. Section 2 will be next. It's time to make up some more resin, cut some more of the plants up and have them ready, and on to section 2. Didn't get the camera turned on correctly, so you missed the first part of me putting moss in. But basically I did it the same way as I did for the first section. And now we'll continue on to see me doing the final steps in section 2. Okay, I'm pushing the moss down, making sure it's stuck down into the resin. Shortly you'll see me start putting the furniture in place. And there it goes. That's the little benches and chairs that I made earlier. I want them placed outside of the 2 little houses. And now some more of the little flowers and plants. Add more color. Keep moving them around where I think they should go. And what I'm doing now is I'm putting in, nope, I'm still doing plants. I thought I had started to hide the fairies. No extra. No, I had started putting the fairies in. So when I'm ready and it's all finished and done, and I go to give you a slow pass, see how many fairies you can pick out. Now we're on section 3, which is the final. Again, a small bit of resin to go on the bottom. And what I'm checking now is where the bridge would go. So I make sure I don't put anything large underneath the bridge. I'm not putting the bridge in and resining it down or gluing it down at this point, because I need to move these things away and the bridge will be between the 2 pieces. So I need to wait until I get it out of the mold before I can attach that bridge. But I have to make sure that I don't put anything in the way. So the moss is down, and now I'm putting in the flowers and plants. A little bit more resin. Like I says, that moss does soak up the resin. And now I'm putting in the fairies.
Table's a mess, but I figured I'd give you a little closer around the view. Obviously still wet because I just finished. And another blow. I don't want all that moss sticking in the water. Speaking of which, here's section 2. Furniture put in. Furniture already inside the house. And section 1. This one's a little bit more set, but still not 100%. Took it out of the mold a little too soon, so I've got it sitting here finishing its curing. Walk along the path. And check out the back. And we're finally at the end. Here's the overview. come in and take a look at each section. I wired up the LED lights, but I'm going to have to go back and probably paint to disguise and hide them. Maybe a little more moss, and I definitely will be using some resin to glue them down. But I wanted to get this video finished. So that's the overview. Section 1. Moving on to the back of section 2. That's part of the wiring. Up over the top. And come in on some of the details. You can see some of the fairies, furniture, walkway. There's the little mermaids I talked about, and there's one fairy talking to it, and the other one hidden someplace. Oh, there she is, kind of dead center if you're looking for her. And the water with plants and animals. Added my little ships. And then we've got the bridge. It's not connected yet, but it'll be connected to this section only, so I can move the sections around. They're quite heavy on their own, trying to move two together. No, better to have the bridge just simply laying in this section and attached to this one. Down close, you can see the animals. A couple more of the boats I added. Like I said, the wires kind of stick out right now, but I will be covering them either with moss or painting them. They will be hidden a little bit more than they are right now. And come around on the back on this one. And one other thing I'm going to do, the control boxes, I am going to make, and it'll have to be a couple because they can't all come together, maybe 3 little sheds, little boxes, just to kind of hide the controls. And what I'm going to do is turn all the controls on. They have 2 settings. Flashing, stat, and come on, flashing. So you see the center is on but staying. The 2 sides are flashing. But all of them are set. Let's take the center. If I get it set. All right. Now you see all the lights on, and they're all blinking. If you look closely at the one house, I do have some lights inside. You can kind of see it blinking inside the house. And I've lit up the bridge. So other than disguising the lights and basically gluing them down with resin, my fairyland is ready. Now if I can just find out where in the house I'm going to put it. And the final view of all the lights flickering away. Lovely little fairyland, and hopefully the fairies in my house are happy with it. And if you've enjoyed this very long journey we've all gone on, give me that thumbs up and subscribe if you want to see what my next journey is going to look like. So wherever you're at, have a good day, good night, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye! And if you enjoyed my video, please press the like button, hit the subscribe button if you haven't, and the notification bell so you know when my next video is out. Thank you!